Well, the yin and the yang, right? The up and the
Yeah.
down, the good and the bad. It's the other side. So it's crazy because it reminds us that we never know.
Yeah. It's true.
It reminds us, and I always I always say to people, do it today. If you can do it today because nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow will be more complicated than
Yeah.
than today. So we never know. Maybe you have 10 problems today and you will have 20 problems tomorrow. We we can
Exactly.
we can never be sure of those things. And um, it's very crazy. People search for reasons and they search for logic, but sometimes there's not any of that in life. It just is the way that it is, and we have to live with it, learn from it, and try to understand it the best way that we know how. Um, so yeah, it's crazy. Like you know what? See, you know what the craziest thing is? The craziest thing is when somebody is younger than you and it
Yeah.
happens to them. That's in
Mm.
my experience, right? Because um, it we all understand it when people get old, they get sick, and the end result is the same for everybody when we get old. But when it is somebody from our community, somebody that we know, and somebody that is younger than us, it's hard. That's been my experience with things like that, where I'm 43 and I know people who were younger than me who died, and I always think that that's crazy because
Mm.
it's like they're younger than me. Oh my God, like it should be me, right?
Mm.
It should be me because I'm older, and it doesn't really work that way. Um, my parents are 75, and maybe I said this before. Most of their friends are dead, right? Most of their friends are dead because they
Mm.
because most people don't live to be 75.
Mm.
Most people don't. So my dad's friends are dead, and my mother's friends are dead, and my mother had this
Mm.
big group of friends that used to meet every week, and over the last 10 years, this group is smaller and smaller,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and and it's all difficult. So I sympathize and empathize with that situation, and if there is anything that I can do to help, I don't think that there is, but if there's anything that I can do, then let me know. But can't can't turn back the clock, which was that was my article. That was my business article yesterday. Was you can't turn back the clock. That's what I wrote about. The fact that people want to go back, they want to go back in time, and they can't. So unless you have a time machine, I don't have a time machine, so that's not possible for me. Maybe in science fiction films, but
Yeah.
that's the only place. Um, that's why that's why pictures and audio recordings and videos, they're kind of important because one day I'm not going to be here, right? Not just on Skype, but on the planet, right?
Mm.
One day I'm not going to be here, but if I can leave behind something, some piece of information, some video, some reference, some audio, maybe some nice pictures that that somebody will like. I think that's okay. That's good. Um, so that's why I try to create something every day. I try to make one creative thing every day and give it to the world, because maybe who knows tomorrow. I don't know tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. So I like to think about today is my last chance to make something creative and give it to the world. And for example, my YouTube channel has 1,700 videos on there.
Nice.
So that's and that's the motivation for that is my thinking. Maybe I won't be here tomorrow. So I'm going to put out one video, two videos today, and I don't know. It might be my last video. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I think we should give when we can give. We should give what we have, where we are, when we can. We should give that, because next month, next year, 5 years. I want to be here in 5 years, but maybe a tree will fall on my head. But that happens.
Maybe, yeah.
That happens to people, right? That happens to people. That's a real thing. The trees fall on people's head. People get struck by lightning, like, and they put up their umbrella in the storm, and it's not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
These things happen. People are standing in their shower in the morning, and that's the craziness of everything. In fact, 2 weeks ago I met a friend, and he had this big red mark here on his head, and I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" And he said, "I was in the shower in the morning. I was having a shower." He said I dropped the soap. Yeah, he said I dropped the soap, and I stood on the soap and fell over and hit my head. Yeah.
But it's possible.
No, it happens. It happens to people. It really happens to people.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my God, you are so lucky, right? You are so lucky to be alive."
Yeah.
Right? Because maybe you fall, you hit your head, and maybe you knock yourself out or something. Maybe there's nobody. And this person lives in a little cottage, not next to anybody else, and he lives by himself. And I said, "Oh my God, what if you fell and you hit your head? What if you needed help and you can't get? Oh, you never know." So it's good sometimes to think about mortality, the fact that we will not be here forever, which should be very good motivation to help us remember who we love and why we love them, and to give to them today, to give to them as much as we can today. So those are my thoughts. So it's a little bit crazy, but as I said, death is kind of on my mind when I create things, when I do things, because I always think, you don't know. Maybe next week you will not be here. I don't know. Right? We just don't know about these things. And I think I told you one of my students died a few years ago, and it really affected me in my mind, because that's why I changed my working style. That's why I changed my business. That's why I changed everything. I changed everything because nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. the government can come to your business tomorrow, and they can say, "That's it. You have to close. Can't do it." These things happen to people. One of my friends in Banska Bystrica, the police came and took him and put him in prison from one day to the next day.
Yes, we have this experience in the past. We have very big problem with our společník.
Společník, business partner?
Business partner, and we have very, very big problem. It was very...
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to my friend.
Yes.
He was part of a company. Somebody in the company did something wrong, and the police just came and took him, and his name was on the paper. Is this you? Okay, your name is on the paper. You come with us. Sorry, it's just my job to take you from here to there. So, yeah, things can change dramatically from one day to the next day. It's through history and time with empires and cities and countries, and it's really crazy. So I guess you learned about this today, yeah? Somebody called you and gave you the information?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have some message.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, I had a message.
Mm-hmm.
About it.
Oh, and I forgot, one of my friends was walking down some stairs, fell over, hit his head, and died.
Yeah. Oh.
He died. No, it's
horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And at the time, I was very upset, and I cried a lot, and I was not very happy. But now that I can look back, it's kind of funny now. It shouldn't be funny, but it's like bang, that's it, gone. It's horrible. I know. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing is you can't predict a lot of these things. So that's that's really crazy. One of my students works in a cancer center, screening women for breast cancer. And so like every day they have 30 to 40 patients, and maybe 90, 95, 98% of them are okay. But every day there's one or two people that are not okay. And my student must tell these people that everything is not okay. Everything is not okay. And that's a really difficult job. Like my job is really easy, okay?
Yes. Maybe.
No, when I compare
Yes.
When I compare it, there are some jobs that are much more difficult than other jobs. I work from home. I work inside. Most of the people I work with are healthy and happy about life and things, and that's an easy job. I'm not at the top of a mountain. I'm not in a submarine under the water. I don't have people shooting at me. And I'm not a doctor. because like or a nurse, because those jobs are really difficult,
Yes.
and that's really hard. Sometimes I think about the hard difficult jobs, and I think about being a doctor or a nurse in a children's hospital.
Yes.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine every day you get up and you go to work in that place, in that environment, and you have to be happy and healthy and positive about everything. That must be so difficult for these people.
Yes.
So I have a great respect for all of those people. And every job has its difficult parts. Selling cars is is not an easy job. Finding good mechanics is not an easy job to do. So all these things are difficult in my opinion. So I always respect other people who have to do things which are more difficult than me, which is most people, I think, basically.